Joining me is the one and only Joker Mage. Joker Mage, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm just looking over, making sure I understand what we're going to be dealing with, and it's a lot of spiciness for the spicy chicken. That's what I'm seeing. And in the upper right hand corner, you can also see some of that. One of the cheat sheets made, I believe, by one of our runners today, PB&J. Is that correct?
PB&J, indeed. He made a graphic far better than I could ever hope to make. That kind of summarizes the Poltergeist Fury flag set. In this flag set, we are starting with 7 characters and 9 espers. 3 starting characters. We do get some objectives for defeating 4 dragons, which is going to be auto haste and auto safe. Fun fact about why auto haste, auto safe. Poltergeist in Final Fantasy VI is always inflicted with auto haste and auto save. So kind of annoying, but then on this flag set, you get to be annoying as well when you fight them. Another key point to call out is why NPC is on. So we can walk up to any character, or excuse me, any sprite in the game, press Y, and we will eliminate them from the map. And we can also do that to some doors, allowing us access into some places we typically wouldn't go, such as the Narsh Water Ruin Weapon Shop. And where else can we go, Joker Mage, with that Y
I think
NPCs
Mount
removed?
Zozo is the really popular one these times.
Oh yeah, you get up there, you can get a science check. You can kind of break the logic, find a character you're not supposed to have early, and just get on a totally different path. It's really cool. But most importantly, you can get the cursed shield very early. Typically, you only do that with Locke, but with YMPC, you can do that with no matter who you start with. And that brings us up to another key change for this flag set that was introduced this week. The cursed shield battles have been increased from 6 to 14 to 11 to 20 because the with YMPC the Ultima was being used a little too much. It should be a treat, not an everyday thing, kind of like ice cream. So thus the change in increase in battles, but still very attainable in my opinion. What do you think, Joker?
Yeah, I mean, I had ice cream today, but it was homemade ice cream, so I had to work for it, and they're going to have to work for Ultima if they want to use it. Another thing that is not is really included on this graphic, and you don't, I guess it's not something that normally is thought of, but it is important for this is the scaling, and this particular flag set uses check scaling, so every check you complete is going to raise boss levels by 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not going to raise the experience in gold they give out. That is still based on characters, espers, and dragons. So that means all your dead checks make enemies more powerful, but they don't make you get more rewards for them. So you gotta be careful with it. You certainly get some very nice toys from those dead checks, but the dead checks can also come back to haunt you. We do see them starting out. I have Realm, Sabin, and Gal. I
Oh
didn't
my,
quite see their abilities yet.
that is a shock realm. That is the dream right there, along with the sword tech gal. This is absolutely 100% the ice cream of seeds. That is an amazing start right there.
And it looks like Jump on Sabin. That's not anything to sneeze at either.
No,
That is
absolutely not.
Dragon Horns as one of the dead check rewards, so that could
Mhm.
give him just a really nice head start as well.
Yeah, in the Poltergeist flag set, a lot of the dead checks revolve, or excuse me, the check rewards for dead checks and dragons revolve around relics. So you can get offerings, experience eggs, Genji gloves, economizers, dragon horns. So that's another interesting wrinkle. But with that, oh my goodness, and an experience egg at the Nars Waterborne Weapon Shop, this is absolutely amazing.
And
Organ
Oregon's,
doing,
yeah, just went right to Coliseum, was shocked his way into the Dragoon set.
and you see that shock do 424 damage with a level 3 realm. That is amazing. The power of shock right there.
I mean, you have a jump user already, you might as well go for it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Saban doesn't have the best equipment pool, but he has very high vigor, and vigor is what you use to do physical damage of Final Fantasy VI. So that's a great heads-up move right there.
Yeah, and I will say that so of all the Worlds Collide seeds that I've had the privilege of doing comms for, this is probably the most divergence I've seen at the start. Like there are 4 players in 4 different locations right now.
So the reason I think that is because we have such a loaded start. If we had a morph sketch gal is a nightmare. Along with say a dance Sabin and let's say Rum was Gogo or some other character that's not going to be S tier. You would probably see a more traditional path. But because we have so many options for offense, it doesn't matter where you go. So you can dive in the checks early. You can go back to the traditional path if you want, or you can do what Nobody War did: walk into the Coliseum, get what you want, and get out, and with minimal risk.
And I guess the question is, what are you hoping to get early on right now as far as the start goes?
Well, obviously, if I was cherry picking, I would want an experience egg. Honeydew finding that experience egg at the Nar's Waterrun Weapon Shop, you just slap that on your realm, and your realm is going to carry you the entire first half of the seed. What you want to maybe find in lieu of that is some things for saving the turn online into an amazing jumper. So any type of higher tier lance. I pointed this out as well. Honeydew also found dragon horns in the World of Ruin Zen Relic Shop. So there's more than just the dragon horn you get from the Coliseum. In case somebody had missed that objective or didn't quite catch that, wasn't aware of it. So you want to find a way to get saving online, and two, you also want to get Gal to level 44. 44
Yeah.
is where you learn Sword Tech 7, and that's the best Sword Tech. Well, it's Sword Tech 6 and Sword Tech 7
I
are
would
the
say
two best
that
Sword Techs.
Oregon dude did get Siren out of that collapsing house, so Honeydew will have that as well. So that's
Very
a great
nice.
Esper to start out with. And then it looked like the Tizen Thief, I didn't see if they actually finished buying it, but probably not. It is only like 5,000 gold, so it's a super cheap thief.
Oh yeah, that is definitely on the lower end. Nobody War also just found a ribbon, so that puts the Cursed Shield in play for him if he desires. And honestly, it doesn't matter where anybody goes, you find good stuff. Nobody War found the ribbon in Thamasa. Flame Shield, for extreme discount in Zen. Experience Egg in the Nar's Water Ruin Weapon Shop.
Now that
Everything is
experience
everywhere.
egg in the weapon shot, however, does count as a check,
It
which
does.
does, it's a great one to have, but it's also going to put anyone who takes it the ones behind
Oh,
on scaling.
so Nobody War just found the Pearl Lance and the Aura Lance, so that's fantastic. I couldn't see if Saban could wear either or, but if you were to pick, obviously those are the top two lances in the game. So if Saban could just wear one of those, Saban's going to be very powerful, very fast.
PB and J got fighting the Lobos at a low level, which makes perfect sense. This is a great time to go and get that Veld check.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is. It looks like it's not a character, though.
It will be an Esper. 5,600 is how much that Flame Shield cost at Zen.
And that was Alexander from the Veld check, it looks like.
Very nice. Multi-summon is on in the Poltrgeist flag set, so Alexander is one of the stronger summons you can use. It just has a decently high MP cost, but that's another, that's going to come really in handy if you happen to come across Doomgaze or Haydn or Chatternook, anything else that is weak to Pearl.
We do have Oregon Dude, speaking of Chatternock, going through the Ozer Mountain check.
Very nice. So as I said, a lot of divergence. Gao has some very nice opening checks. It's cool to do the belt early, which is one of Gao's checks. You just need to find some dried meat, because the earlier you do it, the better, because you can only have the Lobo encounter before you at the start of the game, and when you start taking other encounters, you just add to that, and it can become a headache real fast.
It's probably good to do it while there is only 3 people in your party anyway.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about shuffling your party out. 2, after you do that, you can hop right on into the Serpent Trench, which is just all fixed encounters, which is what you rather do early instead of taking on bosses. Is fixed encounters are a little safer, a little less risk tolerance is required to do those. And then Owser's, which gives you a couple fixed encounters in the mansion, and then a boss fight at the end. And then Saban also has a couple great opening checks too, as we saw 2 people go to Collapsing House already. Imperial Camp is also just fixed encounters. So a lot of great options with this party.
But for you yourself, if you were in the seed and you had this party, like where would you be going first?
I There is no wrong answer, but for me, I've had too many experiences where I've fought Sriracha Behemoth and I had to turn around and try to do gouge check at the belt, and you get stuck fighting him over and over again, or you run into some nasty encounters in the Imperial Camp that you don't want to see again. But then you go to the belt and you're forcing yourself to have to see them again. So I would give myself a handful of opportunities to find dried meat, and if I couldn't find dried meat, then I'm probably gonna fade the belt unless I have to go there altogether, and just do one of the other checks with fixed encounters.
Right.
But
And it looks like PB&J did not equip a Moogle charm and is in the collapsing house and finding L magics to fight. Also, it looked like PB&J might have forgot about the Y remove because he got stuck on some of the NPCs outside there.
Mhm. Well, he also may have just some kindness in his heart, not wanting to take those guys out and wipe them from existence, which
I
is
mean, it's not
him.
entirely from existence. They'll come back later.
Yeah, you come off screen, they come back. I think PB&J kept his Moogle charm off to try to get some fixed encounters, which is great. However, not when you run into the presenters and all the stuff you don't want to see.
Yeah, those L magics are just not like worth it for what you're hoping for.
No, even the lower tier ones can cast break on you. They can cast nasty spells that you just don't see very often and aren't prepared for. So it's better altogether. Just always run away from those.
A double Brontor encounter, and then I'm not sure if that was Veld or not. No, that was looks like it was somewhere else.
He's outside Miranda. Nobody ward maybe heard Gar's request through the ether and decided he had to give Miranda a stop. Outside Miranda is my favorite place to level up in the vanilla game in the desert. Because the Cactars don't give experience, but you can get 10 AP from them. So that way you don't, if you're trying to grind stats or perfect stats, you don't have to worry about getting levels without your Espers on, and you can put your Espers on you don't want to level up with on and get AP that way.
We do have a dragon check coming in on Nobody War. The easiest dragon to get to, arguably, is the Opera House dragon. And that is one dirty dragon. Is that vanilla?
No, I don't know what type of ice cream you had, my friend.
That was not a fun dragon fight, though.
That was over very quickly, unfortunately. Sometimes Dirt Dragon doesn't cooperate. And we still have very, very good divergence. You almost couldn't have planned this any better with all the different showcase and of all the different openings you can do with these flags.
We have seen, I think, 3 do the collapsing house check for and getting Siren out of that. I think we've only seen 1 Veld check so far, and I forget exactly where we got the Alexander from, but I think there's only been 1 person who's done that.
Alexander was at the belt, and Siren
Okay.
was the collapsing house, and then Flame Shield was the Zen Thief. So we still haven't seen Imperial Camp or Serpent Trench, but it looks like Honeydew is about to show us one of those. Honeydew also has the Cursed Shield equipped on his saving with Ribbon.
Do we know what came out of the Ozer's mansion?
I do not. Is he still in there? I don't think he's cleared it. I think PB&J kind of turned around and got out of there once he kept running those nasty counters.
Okay, and Organdu grabs the experience egg.
Nobody Wars Warp is why NPC were moving into Mount Zozo. I really like this because an economizer. I like that even more so now. With only no checks under his belt, all of his monsters that he's gonna fight are around level 3. When you are level 3, you die very easily. But the good news is that when the monsters are level 3, they also die very easily. So you can capitalize on that by maybe doing a dragon or such before they get ahead of you.
So we got Storm Dragon up here. Oh, that was rough too.
That's very rough.
And I think Organ Dude is in World of Ruin, so there may be a Ice Dragon check coming up shortly as well.
There may be. I did think Organ Dude found some warp stones, so that makes, going up there and doing this a little less punishing because you can get out of there with your warp.
And Organ Dude found Starlet somewhere. That is not the best dragon to be seeing there, but luckily you survived that initial attack.
What do you think of everybody's color window option so far, Joker Mage?
I don't think anyone's done anything egregious, or particularly offensive. It's as long as it's readable. That's my main concern.
I don't know if this is ignorance on my part, but I must say I don't think I've ever seen it all white like nobody has wore his setup, and I must say I am very impressed and I appreciate that he did so.
I think thematically, PB&J wins because red text for flavor.
Oh yeah, it matches the red color palette to everybody for the. Ooh, this is a huge battle for PB&J here. You can Rebebify these and they'll give a lot of experience, but he may not have Rebebifies.
And that's just a Telstar in that box, so not the best thing to find.
Organdu not afraid though. He said, shock me, bro, and I'll shock you back. Yeah, Honeydew's finding the same encounter right now. Let's see if he can Rebebify. Yep, he does have some Rebebify, so that's huge.
It just simplifies things, so when you can get rid of the undead monsters like that.
Yeah, plus these give a huge chunk of experience. After you do one or two of these, next time you can honestly probably just shock them and they'll go down. You'll be so much scaled above them now.
And you just see like how much quicker it was for Honeydew to get through that fight. And it started after, but got to Nakia first.
Mm-hmm. What was Nakia word? Well, I missed it on Honeydew, but I'm about to see it on PB&Js.
Just a Genji glove.
Oh, nice. Maybe not if I had got the Genji Club, but seeing it out, I'm a big fan of Genji Club dual weapon builds.
I mean, if you got the right character for it, I think it works. But if your characters are being built in a different direction, it's not quite as useful.
Yeah, so again, our runners tonight, they are showcasing the Poltergeist flag set from our Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide upcoming event, the Warring Triad. In the Warring Triad, our community will be split into teams of 3. There will be an algorithm, quote unquote, I'm calling it the official algorithm, that will place players into a similar skill pool so that they're as balanced as possible. There is no perfect way, but we are our admin team is doing the best they can to make the teams as balanced. And 2 matchups will also be skill based, so that way you're not an A tier player isn't playing a D tier player every time. So anywho, each week there will be battles of teams consisting of 3v3 fights. Members of each team will face off, and best out of 3 wins the matchup. There are 3 flag sets: the Poltergeist, the Doom, and then obviously Goddess's Edict are the 3 flag sets the runners will compete across. We still have signups still available. The event kicks off this weekend. We do have a few slots still open. Um, and that will be open until the 13th, which is Saturday. So still some time to sign up.
Yeah, and we're seeing two of the runners do the Imperial Camp, and it's really showing off the sprite changes that you're going to see in this particular event. Since this is the Poltergeist, the spicy chicken, there's a very distinct reddish orange theme, and you can
Mhm.
tell by looking at all of these Imperial soldiers fighting each other.
Ooh, and that's a stray cat encounter right there. If we come across somebody with rage, that's something to keep in mind because stray cat is the best rage in the game. Well, we can debate it, but I think it's the best rage in the game.
I believe that the cat scratch is what you're talking about, and it's like a four
Yeah.
times power attack.
So it will give a 4 times multiplier to just about any weapon. There are some limitations such as the Valiant Knife, but 4 times is still 4 times. It takes very viable weapons like a sniper or a man eater, and it just turns them into absolutely breaks the game almost. I
Okay,
think that was
another
an
white dragon coming up, or at least a save before.
nobody will learn his lesson from that Dare Dragon. He's gonna give it the old good old safety save.
And
So
there's your friend Cactrot.
very nice. That's great heads up play there from Morgan Dude. Cactrock has really comically high evasion, but Dispatch will always hit, and Cactrock doesn't have that much HP, and that will take him down.
And so, what's your strategy for White Dragon?
Um, not die. So White Dragon can open with anywhere from 1 to 3 turns, as you're seeing right now with the Scar Beam and the Pearl coming out back to back. It's really annoying fighting him early because Pearl is a very strong spell, and it's gonna kill you at a lower level. And if you're at a 3-person party and you cast it 3 times in a row, there's not a lot you can do. You just fall victim to the RNG. So I'm half joking, but I'm also, that's also my plan. It's just hope you get a better roll on the RNG of how many turns he's going to get on you, and then he goes down pretty easily after that.
And that was an offering.
Very
Meanwhile,
nice.
Waterfall is just a tunnel armor.
Saban could wear that Pearl Lance Nobody War just got, and with his Dragon Horn already, that's Saban just now has a very clearly defined strong roll the rest of the seed now for him.
I believe it is jump, jump, jump around.
He may be playing Super Mario World the rest of the seed.
And that tunnel armor just didn't stand a chance.
Tunnel Armor never does. Tunnel Armor does not have a very high win rate in Worlds Collide. It's not 0, but it's closer to 1.
And we have the Guardian at the Tritok spot.
Very nice. So none of our runners have come across character number 4 yet, and character number 4 is going to be required, as eventually we need to have 7 of them to unlock Final Kefka. So while there was a lot of great options to go when we started, we're kind of narrowing it down to there may be somewhere everybody has to go, and whoever may get there first will have a huge advantage.
Right. And it's just a matter of figuring out which one of those checks. I don't think we've seen Esper Mountain yet, but Honeydew is going there right now. And the waterfall was just a flame shield at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Honeydew's going to show us. Excuse me, PB&J is going to show us. Let's see. Or excuse me, Honeydew. Nope, and that is a sprite as well. So Esper Mountain is not the answer to the question.
I'm trying to think of what other check. Like, is it Ghost Train?
It could be. Um, it could also be Mount Colts. It could also be Kefka at Narsh because we've seen both the Gauss. We've seen
Both of
S
Realms.
yeah. Um, so it's got to be Mount Colts, Phantom Train, or Kefka at Narsh.
Of those three, which would you rather do?
On Mount Colts isn't as bad as a check. Oh no, Siegfried. I think that's the
Yeah.
first time I've ever seen Siegfried win a fight.
Yeah, PB&J is not having much luck with the Coliseum. I think that's the second Coliseum fight he's reset out of.
Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunate because he's just trying to get a win to get the Dragon Horn and the whatchamacallit.
All right, and Honeydew is through the hide-in at Esper Mountain.
He should be able to take down this Whisper.
That's Terato as well, so that's another Esper.
Very nice. So, to circle back before PB&J, got smacked by Siegfried, unfortunately. Mount Colt isn't as bad as you would see as the rate of players that go there. It takes a little bit longer than some of the quicker checks, but it doesn't take as long as some of the longer checks. The problem is, and I think why not a lot of people go there is there's nothing really close to it, so you don't end up by it naturally by default. But it's very easy to fly over it 4 or 5 times and not realize you're flying over it, and that you can just land and do another check real fast, relatively fast, not real fast.
I think the closest thing to it is South Figaro, right?
Yeah, but typically by then, you have better saving checks first if you start with the saving, or you just maybe you have find Celeste, you go there, and then okay, maybe I go there now. I happen to be close by, or you get down to where you're waiting it out. That's where you have to go.
Okay, we do have Honeydew PB&J also continuing their shared path, and this is Ozer's Mansion. I think this might be where Organ Dude got the Starlit Esper from,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not entirely certain on that.
Nobody were with the who's of Espers. Excuse me, Relics. He's got the Genji Club, multiple Dragon Horns, the Offering.
So there's at least 2 flame shields that we've seen so far. And I think the offering came from the Ice Dragon. Well, it was the White Dragon, but it was at the Ice Dragon spot.
Mm-hmm. I think you can NPC remove these 2 doors. Honeydew and PBJ didn't stop that, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Maybe you can, maybe you can't.
I think some of it is just trying, because the Y remove wasn't part of Ultras League, so getting used to remembering, oh yeah, I can just press Y is going to be part of the learning curve for this new set.
We got a question in the chat asking, so what would you guys say? Does luck or skill play a bigger part in Worlds Collide races? Joker Mage, I'll let you give a chance to answer first.
I think it really is a balance, because sure, there's luck, but if you don't know how to take advantage of the luck, you're not going to really do as well, because you could get complete luck sack everything at the beginning, and if you just squander that, you're going nowhere. And plus, skill can make up for a lack of luck a lot of times. If you just got some really bad rolls, but the tech to get through them, all those weird, odd sort of edge case scenario stuff that you see sometimes, that just can get you right past wherever the hard spots are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of my favorite things about Worlds Collide, I could try to rank the 4 players on screen 1 through 4 and who I would think win, and 9 times out of 10 it would not end up that way, or excuse me, how they finish, and then it would almost never end up that way, just because while could be a skill cap between some players, and over time that skill gap will show, but in a single race, it's really hard because there's so many factors, there's so many variables. The world is so huge and there's so many things to do that just straight up dumb luck, even finding, an experience egg that your opponent doesn't, can turn an average racer and make them look like an amazing racer just because of the power of that one relic, and vice versa.
I think PB&J has the psychic mind read on you. He's doing Mount Colts.
Very nice. So if in a larger sample size, skin skill will eventually win out. But our events like such as our War and Triad event coming up, you only run one race a week, so you don't have multiple times to get luck for a skill to show out. So in an individual race, luck will play a bigger factor because of the sample size. I heard someone's Moogle. There, that was adorable.
And we have Ifrit Shiva at Colts.
So while there is a guaranteed character that will be at one of Kefka and Narsh Mount Colts, or the third place I am forgetting,
Phantom Train.
Phantom Train, yes indeed. And it does not mean that is the only pathway through the seed. That is only the pathway that the logic used to filter out the characters and espers and place them defined. We could find another way through by going to Mount Zozo, which we know it's not, but theoretically we could. That's why Honeydew is up there right now. We could also find it at Magitech Factory. You can Y NPC remove yourself in the Magitech Factory early and do all of the spots as it would be as if you had Slellis. And you can also go underground to some of Edgar's checks and see if there's a character down there that the game didn't plan for you to get yet. So we know there's for sure a character at one of the through checks remaining, but there also may be another one we get our hands on before we're supposed to create another avenue through the seed. And we now know that it is not Mount Colts, thanks to PB&J.
And it's not Mount Zozo either, because that's an Esper up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's kind of like, okay, has anyone checked Kefka and Narsh yet?
Nobody has, to my knowledge, and I'm 99% sure on that one. Honeydew does have the Paladin show unlocked, though. That's always a great feeling.
You can sort of scout out the Phantom Train, correct? So I suspect we'll probably see people do Phantom Train just to at least check to see if it's a character first, and then if it's not a character, immediately go towards Kefka and Narsh.
Yes, indeed. Well, that also is going to depend on, too, that one, whoever checks our, whoever is the individual that checks our Phantom Train, have they also not done anything else yet? And then are they going to, or filter it down to go into Kefka and Narsh before they go to their other options? But it will tell us, the people that see all four screens, that Kefka and Narsh would be the answer if it's not at Phantom Train.
And according to the tracking, it does look like Honeydew's done the most checks, so we might see Honeydew be the first person to do one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, PB&J is the only one who's seen Mount Colt so far.
That is true. Honeydew's racking up the checks fast. Right now, you could theoretically say, if you were to put out a spread, you would say that Honeydew is the favorite because of his progression through the checks. But that can quickly turn. Nobody War decides to make a contrarian play, go up to Kefka and Narsh, and turns out that was the right answer. He'll crawl right back into the lead, and he may stay there for a while until Honeydew makes his way up there. Honeydew may keep racking up those checks.
Well,
But checks are great, but at some point in time, you do need to find characters.
I was saying, Organ Dude is going back into World of Balance, so we might see a bunch of World of Balance checks.
Mm-hmm. Looks like he's going to stop to the Coliseum. Oh, Ether for Atma weapons. That's very nice.
I didn't see Cypress. That doesn't seem like it's a very difficult enemy either.
It sounds scarier than what you think. Unless, of course, Savins decides to start cash and vanish and other nonsense on himself. At least he's safe now from the beak.
Yeah, I can just think of all the times that I go into Coliseum and my jumping character does everything but jump. But PB&J is going to show us the Phantom Train.
All right, so we'll know our answer here real fast. Ooh, Savin can wear that Atma weapon too. That's juicy.
We got Shadow.
Oh yeah, we got Shadow. Shadow's a great character.
I didn't see his ability though.
I did not either. But logic will dictate that the next character is most likely behind some of Shadow's stuff. The
So
good news is, I'm sorry, go ahead, Joker Mage.
I'm saying we might immediately probably do Gao's father's house check because that's just super quick, super easy, and
Oh
then
yeah,
probably Veld Cave, and then finally Floating Continent if nothing else pans out.
yeah. Because of the speed and the length variety in Shadow's checks, we may find another character immediately. It may be a while, depending on where that character is placed.
But yeah, if PB&J wants to keep that shadow, and I assume he does, he just has to get through the rest of Phantom Train now.
Yes, indeed.
It also means it's less likely we might get to see what's actually going on at Kefka and Narsh until we have a Moogle in our party.
Yeah, and Honeydew is going to find his saving now. The only chance we'd have of someone going to Kefka and Narsh, and it's a possibility, is that there were no characters behind Saban's 4 spots where you could have a character. It's unlikely, but it is possible.
Organ Dude is also at Waterfall right now, and it will probably make short work of this tunnel armor. Yeah. So I suspect that Organ Dude might also just pop over to Phantom Train real quick. I mean, he also is pretty up there in checks, and it's right next door.
Yeah, and Shadow has Steel. But to be honest with you, with an Esper teaching Merton and access to the Paladin shield, and having earrings, just throwing Ultima on Shadow is good enough. His magic power is decent. Even if it gets a lower roll, it's going to be ahead of someone like Savan's. Savan has a defined roll with his jump, at my weapon, or whatever else everyone else is finding. So Shadow can just be a utility character or just a break glass in case of urgency character with Ultima.
I mean, there are plenty of fire shields in the seed too,
Oh
so
yeah,
Merton is definitely on the table.
yeah. We found two. We Most of our runners are doing the Paladin shield, and that just means we're one piece away. So we also someone has a Blizzard Orb too, so Blizzard Orb will also work with Merton. Um, there's a good chance we're gonna get Merton online here pretty soon, by someone at least.
And Organ Dude joins the party with the ninja.
Nice.
So Nobody War is unfortunately the only one who hasn't done Phantom Train yet. Is instead doing Serpent Trench, which, is normally perfectly solid, but we here in the booth know that it's not the answer.
It's the answer for his Atmo weapon, if he finds one more of them, because he'll get the Genji Glove for doing this. But the answer for progression, no, it is unfortunately not.
And he's currently facing some of my least favorite enemies in the game. Those warty frogs always annoy me.
Mm-hmm.
Gao's father is just an imp, so not another character.
That's all right. That leaves us 3 more chances for Shadow to give us a character at some point in time.
That was a Magicite, though, but I didn't see which one.
That was Unicorn. Unicorn.
Okay, Unicorn's not bad. You could even bring that to the final Kefka fight. It's an answer to getting trained.
Do you like Train, Joker Mage?
I like some trains, but not usually the ones in this particular game.
I was referring to the band and possibly Phantom Train.
I like suplexing trains.
Who doesn't? Let he who doesn't cast the first stone. All right, looks like PB&J is going to go up to the floating continent. And speaking of the Warring Triads, again, as we mentioned earlier, we are showcasing our Poltrgeist flag set for our Warrior Triad event, 3v3 action. Still time to sign up. Still a few spots left. So sign up now. What was it? Warring Triads. Bear with me as I try to guess the command to get the links to. There we go. Beautiful. First try. There is the link to our event document, which explains all the exact rules and the legal mumbo jumbo, and also is the link to the sign up form for the event. Google form, sign up. If you're worried about committing full time to the event, we do have the option to sign up as an alternate. What signing up as an alternate doesn't place you on a team, but it allows you to fill in at various times throughout the event if you're available, um, to play for members who have maybe dropped out or don't have time to do their race that week. Are just flat out no showing for their team. What we'll do is we'll plug in some alternates so that way the fights can be balanced and fair. And it allows you to enjoy playing Worlds Collide, appreciate the bet, and none of the pressure of having to do your weekly race every week.
Okay, so Honeydew is through the Baba and is going to go get the unicorn from Gao's father's house.
Nice.
Organ Dude is now through Fumbaba as well. I think Organ Dude had a much faster fight there too, because Honeydew was still in the middle of the fight when Organ Dude started it, and they finished pretty close.
Well, Organ Dude's got his Ultima online with his Economizer. Honeydew, I think, has Ultima on the Esper and Paladin shield, but I don't think he has the Economizer. And that just kind of shows the power of Economizer Ultima right there and how broken it can get very fast. A lot of good Espers. That's Life 3, Doom. We have Merton. We have, obviously, Ultima twice. With all of the great abilities and then the amazing Espers, and then the relics actually that we're getting, paying off has been phenomenal.
One thing we don't have, however, are ice or lightning spells.
No, and that's because in this flag set, they're what is the magic available? We have a fancy graphic courtesy PB&J that I need to pull up. I think you get ice spells in this one. Okay, so you can only get fire spells, and we haven't seen fire 2, or I think we've seen fire 2 on an Esper, but fire 2 is less important when we have all the amazing options we have, but no fire 3 so far.
Nobody War is doing the Imperial camp at the moment, got through those stray cats. And I did not recognize that sprite because of the that's an Esper. Okay, so Cave in the Veld is just another Esper. That means it probably is going to be Floating Continent that has the answer.
Mm-hmm. So, fun fact about Worlds Collide, or Final Fantasy VI, is there are 255 chests. And in the vanilla game, there are varied items in those chests, and the way they get distributed out in this exact flag set is we take all those items that are in the original chest, we take 35% of them, and we randomize them, replace whatever they are with.
I'm sorry. Organ Dude insta death the Ghost Train just now.
Very nice. That's my dog. So anywho, we take all those items, take 35% of them, shuffle them, and then randomly redistribute them. So with that in mind, there is one economizer in a chest in the vanilla Final Fantasy VI. Or excuse me, there are no economizers. I'm thinking of the gem box in the vanilla chest in Final Fantasy VI. So that means the experience egg, for example, is in one chest. So you by default have a 1 in 255, a 1 in 255 chance of finding an experience egg, and a 0% chance of finding an economizer. But with this flag set, 35% of the items are shuffled in the chest. So I'm not going to get too much math here, but basically you have a very, very, very minimal chance to get one in the chest. And that's also true in our other flag sets. I think in Ultras League it's 20% shuffled, which gives you an even smaller chance. However, you do come across economizers consistently in this flag set because they are part of the dead check reward for dragons and then characters that don't reward espers or items. So they are used a little bit more so in this. But in Worlds Collide in general, with the way chests are and shuffled, it's a much more rare use case. But they are extremely powerful, so that's why you don't see them um
And so right
as
now,
often.
PB&J is through the first two bosses.
Hmm.
The first boss for Floating Continent was Narapa. Second was number 128. So we'll soon see the character that we're expecting to get here. That's an Esper, though.
Oh no, so it's either going to be at the end or it's back up on top of Kefka, or excuse me, top of Narsh.
So that would make a completely dead end shadow for as far as checks go.
Yeah, and I'd imagine, and it's the correct move is to assume, oh, I found Shadow, let's do all of his stuff because you're more likely to find characters behind newer characters, and there's nothing wrong with doing all the Shadow stuff. It's just bad RNG, and sometimes bad RNG bites you in the behind.
So he just has to navigate the maze that is Floating Continent, get through the Atma check, whatever happens to be there, and then just go through the collapsing part where they're to the Narapa spot, and then we'll see if there's a character there.
Yeah. So the Atmos spot Joker Mage mentions, it can only be an Esper or an item. A character cannot be at that spot. However, at the end of Floating Continent, it will always be a character or it will always be an Esper. You cannot get an item from the end of Floating Continent.
And if it's an Esper at the end, then that does just mean Kefka and Narsh is the answer and has been the answer the entire time.
It is the answer, but also for PB&J, it's not the answer he knows because he won't have all of the checks completed, so he may go into some of his other checks before he heads up there. It'll make it a really interesting conundrum if it is Kefka at Narsh and there's no character for PB&J. And then we go up to Kefka at Narsh and the character is Terra, because Terra has 5 checks. 3 of them are kind of longish. Well, 2 of them are long. One of them's kind of dangerous-ish. So that would be an interesting conundrum if she's up there.
We got Atma weapon at Atmos. Well, kind of French vanilla.
Oh, that is vanilla. That's where you fight him.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is
he's
it?
the less
Okay.
scary version. His brother's a little scarier.
Okay, I got that mixed up then. So Atma is the toilet Atma.
Yeah. Yeah, Atma can be kind of scary because as you see, Rage is a non-elemental attack, but it's on the lower end of the power. But Atma or a weapon scaled up can get access to Ultima and Flare and catch you by surprise a little bit.
I've seen it do Goner before.
Oh yeah. Luckily, its magic power isn't too high, but if you aren't prepared, you aren't prepared, and it can bite you in the behind.
The first time in many decades ago, when I was a young lad, first playing Final Fantasy VI, back when it was Final Fantasy III, and I got to this spot, Atma weapon nearly wiped my entire party except for Mog, and then Mog was basically on his last leg, so I fought with him, and I got Mughal Rush, the 1 in 16 chance I killed the Atma weapon.
Very nice.
I didn't even know that was a thing until Mog did the Mughal Rush.
Speaking of stories from long ago, I I learned without the internet. The way I learned without the internet how you could save Shadow was that I used to rent Final Fantasy 3 from the grocery store by my house. And one time I rented it, and somebody had a save file with Shadow in the World of Ruin, and that's when I realized there's some way you can get access to him. So I played around everything I could think of up here, and eventually I stumbled across being at the end of it when the timer is running down to 0, and he came flying out, and I was so proud of myself. Oh no, PB&J making a huge mistake here. You never fight these guys. It just isn't worth it. I know what he's thinking. You know, I'll just get some extra ability points for Ultima, but just run away. Just always run away.
Okay, and we do see that Nobody War is at the end of Phantom Train and also has Shadow now. So everyone is going to be on 4 characters. though PB&J is very shortly, hopefully, going to be on 5.
Yeah, that's the correct play here too, running away from this one as well. That's the counter where flange drop down after each other. It just takes too long for what you get out of it.
Okay, at the rapid spot, we have Rexel. With no ice spells, this is going to be a bit more difficult.
I wouldn't say difficult. I would say longer though, because Shock is gonna hit his little friends and eventually kill them. Um, and then while he's not particularly dangerous, he's just gonna take a little while when we don't have targetable offense.
Yeah, having Ice 2 or Ice 3 just makes this fight so much safer.
Even Ice 2 or Ice 3 can take a while because he has such high magic defense. I personally, if I'm available, if I can afford it, is I will buy an Ice Rod or two and hold on to it just for this guy, because it makes that fight so much faster. He doesn't have a lot
Unfortunately,
of
there's
HP.
some really good jump targeting from Sabin here, and
That's
just tore through that Rexel.
Yeah, that's pretty lucky right there. Back to back double jumps in the right spot.
Setzer. So we got character 5.
Nice.
Setzer lets us search the skies. It also gives us a free check at Kalingen, and then the Daryl's Tomb check.
And of Zetzer's 2 spots, only 2 of them can be characters, at the College and Inn, or at Droll's Tomb. Searching the skies and finding the doomsday spots cannot be an esper, or excuse me, not be a character. It can only be an esper or an item.
But yeah, we're immediately making a beeline for those 2. They're right next to each other in World of Ruin, so it's pretty easy to do one then the other.
Oh yeah, Zetzer's checks are so beautiful because they're right next to each other. 2 of them right next to each other, and one of them's anywhere, so it's right where you want it to be at all times. And then you can do all of Zetzer's checks in under 3 or 4 minutes, or excuse me, under
Okay,
4 or 5 minutes.
we got Kieran from the cafe.
All right, so that puts us back in the same conundrum. Could be a character at Daryl's Tomb. If not, we know it's at Kefka and Narsh.
I mean, so far, assuming that there isn't something at Kefka and Arch, this is going to be a fairly linear run because it's just been get the right check, which was Phantom Train the entire time, then end of Floating Continent, and if this pays off, then Daryl's Tomb. And this isn't that long of a check. It sometimes feels like it, but it really isn't that long.
No, it definitely isn't. It's not as quick as it's not the quickest check in the game, but it's definitely not the longest. It's in the middle pack, but it is very much peekable because what I mean by peekable is we'll speak to the tomb at the end of this dungeon, and that will tell us what we're getting. And if that is not a character, knowing that we need characters, what we can do is read that tomb. If it's not what we want, we just reset out and we go on about our business. Looks like PB&J put Setzer in for his shadow, I think.
Yeah, and it looks like he may have left the Moogle Charm on Shadow and forgot to swap it over.
Sometimes it be happening, my dog. Honeydew gonna fight this? No, you just run, Honeydew. Just run. It's not worth it. There we go. Nope. There we go. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting the Warp Stone or Smoke Bomb out.
All right, Joker. Do you think this is gonna be a character for PB&J, or do you think he's gonna be getting the wrong end of the RNG?
I think it's going to be a character. If it's not, this is just going to be a really weird seed.
It is. We had such a loaded start, but because of that very linear path. Oh,
Let's
go
go
go.
go.
Oh no.
At least we know where we're going next.
We know where we need to go with go go.
Oh, that's not fun.
Oh, so
Fortunately, he did not. But we'll see if any of the other racers get trapped by that.
yeah, knowing that everybody's going to make this path, that's going to make some interesting situations. Let's see who's cognizant of their level at all times.
Yeah, I'm start like realistically, as long as we don't get into a dead end as far as the character checks go, we're probably not going to see Kefka and Narsh unless we have Mog, because there's no reason to go up there unless you have Mog.
Hmm. Well, we do know with Gogo, we only get access to one check, and it puts us right back in the same situation we were before we read this tomb. We still need one more character because we need 7 for Final Kefka unlock. So at some point in time, one of our runners is going to show us that either it's at our Zone Eater for Gogo or it's at Kefka at Nars for the last character.
I
But
mean, if you're in PB&J's position, are you doing Gogo's check first, or are you doing Kefka and Narsh first?
I'm doing Gogo's check first because you're right next to it on the map. You just go left and to the up for about a second and a half, and you're right there. Plus, statistically, number percentage chance of it being a character is more likely. Um, how much more likely is you got to read the algorithm to figure it out. But you are more likely to get a character from Zonier than you are Kefka and Arsh. If I were PB&J and I felt maybe behind and I had to make up time through miracle plays, maybe I go up to Kefka and Arsh. But I don't feel like he would go that way at all. We're approaching the 1 hour mark. He's been cruising through everything with really minimal pushback. I think he'll be just fine whatever way he goes.
Yep. Honeydew's going into Doomgaze fight.
And another thing too, as we can see with Honeydew's screen, Honeydew only has 5 characters, but he has the requisite number of espers he needs. So once we find that 7th character, we have an avenue to get all the espers we need without going above those characters.
As you pointed out, PB&J hasn't done all the other checks yet and is now choosing to do those instead of Go-Go's.
Oh
We
yeah.
do know this will be an Esper, and PB&J does still need a couple Espers, so this won't be that bad for him.
Mm-hmm. If I were him, I would probably take this Esper because I know
Yeah,
I need 2 more espers, 1 more character. I think you still go ahead and do the Esper here.
Yeah,
If he was at a
he-
lower number of characters, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joker Mage.
I'm just saying, you know you're going to need the Esper anyway. You've already walked this far through. You might as well just finish it.
Yeah, if you only had say maybe 4 characters, I would warp out because there's a good chance I stumble across 2 espers in my search for 2 characters. But just needing 1 character, and you only have to go a little farther to get this, I would go ahead and do it like he's doing. Plus, he gets the opportunity to suplex the train. Oh, nope, I apologize. He can't suplex it.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen any characters with Blitz so far.
He gets an opportunity to instant death the train. I think, did Realm just shock the party? Ooh.
Okay, Honeydew is doing Zone Eater now.
Yeah, Honeydew will give us our answer very fast. Again, we're down to just Zone Eater at Kefka at Narsh. Is what we know.
Yeah, when Zone Eater when Honeydew got Go-Go, he took that opportunity to just take everyone else off the party so he could immediately do the Zone Eaters engulf. That felt like a very heads-up play.
Mm-hmm. All right, and this is, in my opinion, the toughest boss in the game, the Bridge Trolls, and you can see why right there. Honeydew thought he was in the clear. He thought he had an opening on his way to the end zone, but the hole closed very fast, and he's back, and we're at 2nd down, 2nd and 10.
Can you Y remove those guys?
You cannot because you can't enter the space, the tile next to him, without getting bumped off.
That's a shame.
It is. As you can see, this is. Oh no! Get brave, Honeydew. Okay, retreat, run away.
Yeah,
One more
this
try.
could be
I love this play.
very trolly.
Yeah.
been stuck at that particular location for like probably a good 5 minutes once.
Yeah, but fortunately the Chancellor gets out of the way. Honeydew's patience pays off, and he is through with only one drop down. An important strategy for the Chancellors, the green guys that troll you on the bridge, is to know that they can sense fear. They can sense and smell your fear. So if you show any type of fear at all, they sense it, they feed off of it, they eat it, and they will in turn make you fear them. Even more so. And that is the character number 7 for Honeydew at the end of Zone Eater. Great news for Honeydew. He's got Kefka unlocked because he already has 10 Espers. Do we know what the skip check was? How many skip or checks does he need for skip?
I'm not sure if anyone actually looked at that in the. At least I haven't seen the tracker, and I don't know if it showed up when you rolled it.
Find out real fast because Honeydew's got to be close to it.
Yeah, he's doing Search the Skies.
It can be anywhere from 21 to 25, but if it's only 21, oh yeah, he's gonna do this in the Opera House Dragon.
I will say this is an unusual fight, just because normally I'm used to seeing the cranes on either side. It's kind of disconcerting to see them on the same side. Organ Dude is through, and we'll also have Setzer.
Yeah, Organ Dude will play that game of now of how fast does he go to Daryl's Tomb, and then how fast does he go to Zone Eater. And
there's your skip.
Yeah, he doesn't even need 21 checks because he got his 11 Esper, so it's an 11 Esper skip, which is very nice.
So basically just going to do some last minute outfitting and then probably go ahead and take on statues.
Yep. I need to remember what Atlas Armament was. Great heads up play. That's going to make his throw Zetzer 25% more damaging. Oh no, excuse me, he didn't take the Zetzer. That was PB&J. That's going to make his Sword Tech 7 Gao 25% more damaging.
So going into the statues here, if you're in Honeydew's position, how do you divide up your main party?
He has Ultima on his Shadow with an Economizer, which is nice and safe. He has Gao with Sword Tech 7, which is also going to ignore defense. Sword Tech 7 is going to kill any statue eventually. It's just a matter of is that statue going to kill you first. So with the Paladin shield, he's pretty safe with his Gao taking one side. He's also pretty safe with his Realm taking another side with Shock. So I think what he's doing right now is the most optimal move is sending his Shadow and Sabin up front because they're less likely to win a dragon or a statue fight 1v1. So go ahead and pair them up and let the two stronger characters take their fight by themselves.
PB&J got 7th character, is now doing Search the Skies. That will be 9 Espers.
Yep, that will give him unlock but not skip.
We have Ultros 2, it looks like, at the Guardian spot.
Yes, we do. Oh yeah, and then I didn't realize he had an Atma weapon with an offering Sabin, which is fantastic. So he actually has 3 characters, so just go ahead and put the extra character with Shadow with Sabin, so he's up the middle, fight one more fight, whatever. He is all good.
So you don't really expect too much of a threat from any of the statue bosses as far as Honeydew is concerned. And so in the meme chest?
With this fight, no. Honeydew is going to walk through it. Where it can and potentially will get dicey for him will be on the sides because he doesn't have wall rings to cast Reflect. I'm not sure off the top of my head if he knows Reflect, But Poltergeist can get very trolly very fast with his stop blaster combination. Um, and we don't get to learn stop in this flag set. Poltergeist can be stopped with a stop spell, or it can be reflected back to him when he casts it on you. In short, he's susceptible to stop. Um, but the bad news is if we don't have a way to get stop back onto him, if he stops on cast stop on the wrong character, it's almost an automatic reset.
Okay, we do see PB&J electing to do the full tower, or possibly just going to be hitting one or two spots. Yeah, it looks like he may have divided his party to just go and swing through the right side, possibly going to get checks or some other unlock condition that way.
He may be just doing a full right side clear, which is where you put your all 40 party members on the right side. And you go all the way through the Inferno spot, the Guardian spot, and the middle statue, which is Poltergeist. And then what you do is you warp out and you divide your party into parties of two, and then do the two side statues 2v2 with two characters. It does take a little longer, but it does guarantee you a better chance to get through it more comfortably.
Yeah, and it was not a very common thing to see in Ultras League simply because it was very easy to get skip in Ultras League, and so that was the dominant strategy.
Mm-hmm. Plus, in Ultros League, any boss can be in these statue spots. In this flag set, they are shuffled, which meaning all three statues are up here. We just don't know which spot they're going to be in, but they are for sure going to be up here. Actually, that's a great heads up play with Honeydew. Sword Tech 6 can inflict stop, which is stunner, and we'll know here in a minute if that stop hit, but I think it did.
But yeah, we do see Honeydew here right now taking on the Flagset's namesake.
Yeah, so stunner can inflict stop, which is Sword Tech 6. It connected on Honeydew's first turn, so he's got a couple turns to just do nothing and but kill Poltergeist, and that may be all he needs.
Ultras 3 at the ambush spot. Organ Dude is going to get demied instead of engulfed, unfortunately, but I'm sure that will change shortly. We do have Nobody Wars now through the floating continent and is doing the Setzer checks.
And Honeydew just has the Doom fight 1v1 with his realm to go, which I think should be no problem for him because with Shock, Shock will get past some of the obstacles Doom will present for Honeydew, and he'll be just fine.
And the PB&J is taking on the Gold Dragon. I'm not sure if that's a vanilla Gold Dragon or if it's swapped spots with the other one.
I think the Skull Dragon is on the right side, the Gold Dragon is in the middle, so it's just swap spots. It's
But yeah, like just looking over everything right now, it does feel like Honeydew has a very commanding lead. Was able to get skip, just getting to those statue fights much sooner. PB&J got to Kefka unlock a bit later, did not get skip, and is going through the entire tower using the fold right clear strategy, but will be getting towards the statues very shortly. Meanwhile, Organ Dude and Nobody War are sort of going through the required checks to get up to 7. The Organ Dude does have the required Esper, so just needs to get the characters, while Nobody War does appear to still be down 2 Espers.
and if I were to predict, I think Honeydew's gonna, it's gonna take him a little longer. Doom's not cooperating a little bit, but I think he'll be fine getting through this fight eventually. And by the time he gets through this, he should be starting on his final Kefka fight. about the time PB&J is done with its Guardian spot. Yeah. Should just be one or two more Mimic Ultimas here, and
we do see that Organ Dude, it is actually on 7 characters and is going right into tower.
oh, nice.
Several minutes behind PB&J, but is still... Oh, he has skip. Never mind.
Oh, never mind. That is the power of skip right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I would still say that Honeydew has the more or less commanding lead right now. But yeah, this became a race again.
Yeah, and Organ Dude is newer to our community. He's been around a couple of months, but Honeydew's been around, over a year. Maybe longer, because I've only been around about a year. Nobody War has been around for a while himself. And you can just see, as we had mentioned, luck versus skill. I actually wouldn't even say this is luck. This is almost a combination of both for Oregon Dude. Um, he's been working very hard, and just for the amount of time he has versus some of the other runners on screen, to be able to put up this type of time and this type of top condition is just amazing, and a credit to all that he's done to get better.
Okay, so Oregon Dude is at the Guardian spot, which is again Ultras 2, not a huge threat. PB&J is also doing that. As part of the full right clear, I think, is just taking that entire main party through to take on both the Guardian and the Goddess spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because remember, he's got to warp out and walk the tower again, or do 2 more checks some way somehow to get back up to where he's at. While Oregon Dude just has to walk forward and stuff on some switches.
But we do see Honeydew starting the final Kefka fight.
All right, chat. A game we like to play is how long will Honeydew take to beat the game? And we're not talking about the timer on your screen. That's right in the middle where you're talking about how long it's going to take him to complete the final Kefka fight. The official timer will start when we hear the bell at the start of Tier 1, and it will conclude at the crack pow of when Tier 4 is defeated. I will kick us off. Actually, CC Runner's beating me to it. I'm going to kick us off, and I'm going to say 9:55 is how long it will take Honeydew to defeat Final Kefka. And I missed it. Knuckly Kong, by chance, our producer, did you see the start time? Otherwise, I am eyeballing it. If anybody in chat saw it, go ahead and throw out what it was. Otherwise, I'm going to say 109.30. $109.30 it is.
I think Nobody War, once he gets that Celeste at the go-go spot, will have skip as well, because he's already on 20 checks.
Mm-hmm.
Simultaneous Goddess kills from Oregon and PB&J. And we see Merton coming out on Honeydew's side.
Yeah, Merton and Ultima will make Tier 1s and Tier 2s go by so fast with the massive AoE damage for Honeydew. Where he may run into a little bit of a problem is Tier 3 and Tier 4 when that MP gets running a little lower.
The other slight wrinkle for using Merton is Tier 3's girl spot does absorb it.
Mm-hmm. But he does have shock, he does have access to Ultima. And he does have that offering saving, which is also going to bypass break the damage limit. So maybe you won't have as much trouble as I predicted or assumed.
Oh, and unfortunately, Realm got turned into an imp, so we'll have to fix that if we want to use her spells anymore.
Yeah, Tier 2 is Tier 1 we like to call the armor check with the damaging physical attacks. Tier 2 is what I like to call the status check, in that do you have access to ribbons or green cherries or remedies, because it can get a little trolly with some of the moves it does. And that's a 20,000 damage a turn save, and I stand corrected. I don't think he's gonna have any trouble on Tier 3 or Tier 4.
And nobody war is doing a Coliseum fight.
It looks like nobody war's gonna get himself some atma weapons as well.
And PB&J is going through the tower again. This is the where you split the party so you can do the side statues, if I understand correctly.
Yep.
And you can definitely see, again, the advantage of having skip, where Organ Dude just doesn't need to do that, can just immediately go and do those side statues, assuming you have the power for it.
Yeah, plus another advantage of having skip is that it means you've done more checks than your opponent, so it means you're also a higher level, just by default. So you're just going to kill things faster. So it's almost like a snowball effect. I had mentioned maybe 30 to 40 minutes ago how Honeydee was theoretically in the lead because he had progressed through the most checks. And while the seed kind of got linear, so that kind of played to his advantage with his fast check count compared to the other runners, because everybody had to go to the same spots to get their characters. And that meant he was just going to work through everything faster to get there.
So it feels like PB&J is going to end up behind Organ Dude, just because of that skip difference. But how far behind, and is there a way for PB&J to get ahead during the final fight?
It is very unlikely that PB&J can kill stuff faster than Organ Dude can. The way he can catch up and get to second place right now, assuming, well, second place because we're going to assume Honeydew doesn't slip up himself, is that if Organ Dude slips up, and that's still very possible because the statue fights are going to be fought 1v1 on Organ Dude's side. So if Organ Dude has a death or two, or a reset or two, that's going to equate for a PB&J's walkthrough time. And if they have to restart the fights at the same time, PB&J is going to have an advantage again because he'll be fighting those fights 2v2 instead of 1v1. So fights that were giving Organ Dude trouble, PB&J will have an advantage in. So that's really what he needs right here, is just some bad luck for PB&J Organ Dude. But no bad luck with Poltrgeist. He goes down pretty quickly with his Sword Tech Gal.
Would you see Celeste down on Honeydew's side?
Honeydew is just fine. It's so with his saving doing 20k a turn, all he really needs is saving to make it through this fight, and he'll be just fine. I don't even think Celeste was his part out.
Yeah, I think it was Gal was the one, and
Yeah.
Celeste was a sub in, but Celeste was already down from the
Oh
statue
no!
fights. Oh,
But life 3. Okay.
And she should also have life 3.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so they're going through. We're going to see the final fight.
That is the dangerous part of relying on life 3, is because tier 3, or excuse me, sleep on his death counter has a 100% chance to cast Calmness once, and then a 1 in 3 chance to cast Calmness again. And then after your life 3 goes off, there is a chance that Calmness can come out in the same character again without that life 3 protection. Yes. So it's good, but it's not great. It's not a foolproof plan, but few things are.
So this Setzer has throw, but it's also not like one of the ones he was purposely leveling for this fight.
That's fine as long as he has access to 1 elixir or 1 X potion. He can throw it on Sabin, and that's 20k damage this turn. Yep, there we go.
And so it feels like the important thing is just keep that Sabin up.
Yep. We're gonna do over 30k damage to bypass Fallen 1 here, which is great, and then we'll just have 32k more damage to do. And as long as Sabin gets 2 turns off, excuse me, at least 3 more turns off, we're good to go. Actually, not even. Yep, because that's 40k damage right there. One more realm turn, one more saving turn, and this is over.
I think he started around 108 or 109.
109.30 was the unofficial official time.
So this was a very fast one.
That was very fast indeed. That was a sub 7-minute final Kefka. And GG's to Honeydew. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got some GG emotes, let's get them out in the chat.
We
For our
got
hot dog Honeydew.
PB&J going right through that Doom, and Oregon Dude is still in the Doom fight. I don't know if PB&J has done the Poltergeist fight yet, though.
He
And
has
Nobody
done.
Lore is in Doom fight as well.
He has not done the Poltergeist fight, and we are joined by the top dog himself tonight, Honeydew. GG's Honeydew. How you feeling? Technical difficulties, please stand by. Our Chocobo's unplugged his audio.
Hello.
Our Chocobo Hello. Unplugged his audio.
Hey, how's it going?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good, my dog. How are you doing? Not as good as you, apparently.
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
So, Honeydew, GG's, congratulations. That was a very impressive showing and an even more impressive Final Kefka fight time. Under 7 minutes. What is your key to success tonight, my dog?
Just saw the power that I had and chased after it. So when I've been approaching these triads, it's been like I don't care about Kefka at all. I care about the three statues. Like they're the real final boss. Kefka's just a victory lap.
Mhm.
So I'll be like, okay, when do I consider the lane solved? So as soon as I started to see, I saw Shock Realm and Sword Take Out. I'm like, okay, 2 lanes solved. So I had to find, okay, how do we solve lane 3? Once I got the Atma weapon on Sabin, it was like, okay, all 3 lanes are saved. I solved, I mean.
Yeah, it was a very giving seed, especially at the start. It didn't matter which way you went. Some people found a ribbon for their curse shield. Some people found Dragonhorn right away. Some people found the economizer. It doesn't matter which way you went. You got something for your efforts. However, we can tell you now that you finished. It was a very linear seed because we don't know was it Kefka Narsh, so there may have been a character up there, but the character pathing was, as far as we know, Phantom Train into Daryl's Tomb excuse me, Phantom Train into the Floating Continent into the end of Daryl's Tomb and then in the Zone Eater. And unless there's a character at Kefka Narsh, there was no other character, so it was very linear all the way through.
Yeah, I was. So before I saw how the seed was gonna shake out, I my plan was to go for 21 check skip because roll 21 checks. So I was gonna go for the 4 dragons and get that objective. But then I just kept getting Magicite after Magicite, dead check after dead check. Like part of me, why removing Zozo was to start working towards that 4 dragons goal. I was gonna hit like 21 checks and the 4 dragons and like unlock all at the same time. But when I saw it wasn't gonna work out like that, I abandoned the dragon plan and I gotta say I was tremendously happy to see that that the 5th character was Setzer. So I zipped over to Collingen, wasn't there, went to the tomb. Then I was even more happy to see the 6th character was Go-Go. Like was at Kefka and Narsh. But yeah, I was so happy there was like characters with like 1 or 2 checks at the end because like I knew I was super good on Magicites and I knew I was good on check skip. I just needed those characters in. And personally, Zone Eater is my favorite check in the entire game. Like I love doing the bridge, I love doing the 1 cycle ceiling room. Like it feels so good to just nail those. So I was very happy to see Go-Go as character 6.
You did get through the Chancellors on 2 tries. You only got knocked off once. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good effort for that bridge troll.
Yeah, funny like Locke was at Kefka and Narsh the whole time. If somebody would have went, that would have opened it up a bit.
Yeah. Who would you so you had a Saban slapping for 20k damage. You had multiple people doing quad 9 Ultimas. Who would you say was your strongest, most MVP of your team throughout that seed?
Absolutely Realm. The 50 magic power shock to start with. It's funny, I was talking about before the seed, I haven't had a shock character in like any of my practice seeds for this shit, or any of my races. Start off with the shock realm. That's why she got the EXP egg first, was because they I wanted early game power from shock. Once I felt I was strong, I passed the egg to Gao because I wanted to ensure Sword Tech 7. Once I was sure he was gonna get Sword Tech 7 and had Atma Saban, then I passed the egg to Saban. But Gao ran into some bad luck this run. He had like traded deaths with Haydn when he had the XP egg on, so didn't get experience with it. He got dreaded on tier 1 Kefka. We had to do like the whole Kefka fight without him, which I was okay with because I needed Gao to beat Poltrgeist. I didn't need Gao for anything else.
So you didn't think about resetting at all there when he went down?
No, no. All I needed Gao for was to get past the statue lane.
And then a quick update on what's still going on between the battle for second place. We got Oregon Dude and PB&J are on both on their final Kefka. Nobody World will be there pretty soon. But Oregon Dude still has maintained his lead. He's on tier 2, and PB&J is just on his way up to tier 2. He just wrapped up his tier 1. So battle for second still very much happening.
Yeah, gotta say one of the funnest parts of the seed was when I had to use jump for Merton protection. Yeah, Merton's a good bit stronger than Shock, so I was jumping to do the Merton.
Now, how many times have you done the Poltergeist Fury flag set?
Say more than 5, less than 10, somewhere around there.
So do you think you're getting a good handle on all of the intricacies of it?
Yeah, I got it down.
And do you have any advice for anyone who's just starting out, trying to learn Poltergeist Fury?
Let me get my pen and paper for this question. Go ahead, honey.
Yeah.
Do answer away.
Poltergeist, in particular, I do recommend starting with the lock weapon shop check. So if you go to weapon shop and you check it, and like it's not good day of checks or is a magicite, reset right away. Then you go back in, you get your cursed shield, go loot the warehouse. Then from there you do like your beginning looting. The dragons, I'd say half the time I've done the dragons, half the time I haven't. And the thing is, when I have done them, I've been glad I've done them. And when I didn't do them, I didn't regret not doing them. So I can't tell people to do that every time, but I say just keep it in the back of your mind. And, you know, if you grab the dragons along the way, if they're not too far out your way, auto haste is severely underrated. Especially at long fights, and the seed's gonna end with long fights. And as for other things, not having ice or thunder element can be an issue. Be on the lookout for the ice and thunder rods. If you get a good magic user, to like, guess either good magic or vigor in this flag set. Like I said, not just for this flag set, but for all of them. Think about how you're gonna solve the statue fights. They are the final boss. Kefka is not the final boss. Those 3 statues are. So he's be thinking the whole seed. Okay, can this character be Goddess and Poltergeist and Doom? And do I have 3 characters that can do that? And just be thinking like, do I have to get a jumper online? Do I have to get somebody with offering online? Do I have to get a good mage online? Do I have to go out of my way to get Ultima? Think about those 3 statue fights the entire seed.
Yeah, there's not a lot of scenarios where you can beat the statues.
Just a quick update. PB&J is pulled ahead. Got through the second tier ahead of Oregon Dude.
My dog. Yeah, Oregon Dude's still wrapping up his tier 2. PB&J has caught the son of a gun, and he said it's my race now to lose. But just the echo what Honey is doing is saying, there's not a lot of scenarios where you can clear the statues with go through Kefka's tower and not be able to beat Final Kefka. So those are the true threat through the seed. They're the thing to look out for. I think that's very good advice and something everybody should have in the forefront of their mind at all times when doing these flag sets.
I think Nobody War may have learned that the hard way. It looks like he reset out of the goddess fight.
Yeah, like just to give some more advice, so like on the statue fights, it's so you saw I was able to use sword six to like stun Poltergeist, which felt really good because stun isn't in this flag set, but it was like, hey, we'll find a way to use stop. I mean, stop isn't in this flag set, and so the scaling in this flag set is based on checks the instead of progression. Oftentimes you'll be fighting like level 46, sometimes like level 50 statues. When they're like level 50, Doom and Poltergeist will have over 40,000, and I think Goddess has like is under 40,000. I want to think it's like 36, 37, 38, somewhere around there. Goddess is a little bit squishier.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you're fighting Goddess with a bigger character, so if you look at the sprite, you see like she has one arm raised and one arm down. The arm raised is where her back is, so you get double damage. You hit try and hit her in the armpit. It'll do double damage.
I do have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Honey 316, after you hit the stunner, did you pour some beer on Poltergeist on him?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Hit him with that 316 for then we start laying out those sword 6/7s. Boy, Goddess is giving Nobody War the business.
And not on screen, but we do have other runners in this race, and one of them just finished, so the battle for second place on our screen still continues, but we did have Double Down finish up with a time of 1:27.49. GG's the Double Down. And that's what is the racer command for this?
PB&J is through tier 3. Calmness hit Setzer, but Life Free was there to pick him back up.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed what you've seen tonight, all three of our runners stream regularly, or excuse me, all four of our runners stream pretty regularly on Twitch, so give them a follow. The links are in the chat before your eyes now for you to follow them. This has turned in quite the interesting finish. We thought Organ Dude had this in the bag, but the cat got out of the bag, so to speak, and PBJ is about to put the finishing touches on this Christmas present.
Yeah, so even without the tower skip, PBJ just had a better final Kefka fight.
Yeah, and Organ Dude is on his way to join him. He's taking that Kefka elevator. That Kefka elevator moves slow sometimes, but when he gets on the correct floor, he's going to be down 2 of his characters to do the calmness.
Huh.
But still very much in it.
By the way, shoutouts to finding 11 Magicites and no calmness protection. Luckily we had life 3, but 11 Magicites and no calmness protection. That's wild. And no, I didn't check my Magicites, but I didn't see Vanish on anything.
And I think I already know the answer to this question, Honeydew, but you're all signed up for the Warring Triads event. You don't need the link for the forum.
No, you're signed up, ready to go.
All right, just in case you haven't, again, the link to our Warring Triad event, the official rule document that contains all the legal mumbo jumbo that I don't have half a mind to understand, is there available for you. Also below that is the sign up form. As we mentioned earlier, there are still a few spots available, and we'll be kicking off this weekend, so sign up now if you're on the fence. We do have the option to sign up as an alternate, where you'll be placed on teams that may be short a member that week, so you don't have to commit fully to the event, but you still have the option to play and just do the fun parts from time to time.
All right, I'm gonna hop out so you can commentate this finish. GG to the runners, and thanks for the 3 streamers and the commentators. Thank y'all for everything.
Yeah, how you do? Have a good night at work, my dog.
Thank you.
And this is gonna be a pretty close finish for PB&J. Goner's coming out. Organ Dude is whittling away some damage. Just still anybody's race for second place.
Yeah, and we did get a forfeit from Nobody War. That Goddess fight apparently just really took it out.
Oh, crack pow for PB&J. He secures his second place on tonight's event. GG's to PB&J. And we'll do something.
Looks like PB&J's official time on that is going to be 1 hour, 30 minutes, 51 seconds.
Yeah, that was I was just asking if they wanted to interview. I didn't see things that happened on Organ Dude's screen. And oh no, that's a wipe at the lowest possible time because he was close to the end. Um,
Oh dear.
oh no, that's unfortunate. And we will see who will else be joining us to talk about tonight's race. Maybe no one. Two of our runners we asked have declined. One of them is sick, so that's understandable.
Do we? And I think we still might have one runner in the race off stream.
We do have Jesus the Frog still going off stream. He has not finished, but he has mentioned in the chat that he didn't have a good time with the Poltergeist, which happens. We'll see if Oregon Dude wants to hop in here with us as well.
Okay, we did have Oregon decline. That's fine.
Well, just to recap, we had Honeydew in first place with a time of 1:17:07. We had Double Down off screen finished in second place with a time of 1:27:49. And we had a hotly contested fight for third place, literally to the death. PB&J and Oregon Dude fought to the death. For third place, PB&J came from behind with 1:30:51, and Oregon Dude fell just short.
Yeah, and Nobody War unfortunately had a very rough time against one of the statue bosses. Like Honeydew was saying, in many respects, those statue bosses are the final bosses of this particular flag set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can. The scaling in these flag sets goes up to 50, and with the requirements, it's very very easy to push those levels up to 50. And even if they aren't at 50, they're going to be at a minimum of 45-ish. So they turn into some nasty fights, and it's just unfortunate sometimes you don't know if you're prepared or not until you get up there and you wing it, and it can be backbreaking when you get up there and you can't get through with them. But sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit.
And
And
these flag sets also have ability scaling, so
oh
that
yeah,
as the enemies gain in levels, they're also going to get higher tier attacks and spells, and even access to some of the more dangerous stuff. We were talking about how, like, Atma weapon can potentially get like stuff like Fallen One or Gone, or just be if it's at a high enough level.
yeah. So just to recap one more time, sign up still going on for our War and Triads event, but minimal spots are still available, and they will go on a first come first served basis. So if you're on the fence, sign up now to guarantee your participation or your eligibility to participate, if you will. If you're on the fence though, as well, go ahead and sign up as an alternate. That way you can still play occasionally at your own convenience when you are able to, and without the full commitment of having to do a race every week. Oregon, or excuse me, Joker Mage, always a pleasure. Do you have
Yeah, it's great
anything
being
else?
here. No, if you are interested in doing any of the Worlds Collide stuff, we have a lot more than just wearing triads. That's just our big thing that we want everyone to know about. But there's always a bunch of stuff going on in the background. And if you want to get involved with any of that, go to the website and join the Discord.
Yeah. We'll get. Oops, is it D? We'll get our Discord link in the chat. We have our War and Triad event, which is our next major event for Final Fantasy VI Worlds of Collide. We do run many weekly asyncs, and now a monthly asyncs, the Chupon Championship, which is a 2v2 type event, revolving around the Ultras League flag sets. We also have the Ultras Underground, which is a weekly async.
We got
That
the beginner training program.
Yeah, we have the mentor program, which is pinned in our beginner house, which is where if you join, you will land in our Discord. We also have the weekly draft async, which will resume Thursday, where we draft. We utilize the Setzer bot, which is a cool thing. What our community does, as opposed to some other randomizers, is the draft bot. And then we also have the living seed, which is where every week all of the runners can pick 2 flag sets. They can change with there are some limits. There are some legal mumbo jumbo that you have to follow.
I always
But
like
everybody,
to just remind people we also have the Archipelago Multi-World. I'm
yep.
usually a part of that. We usually do an async multi-world every week where everyone's sort of cooperating and trying to find what other people need. And it's not just Worlds Collide, but several other games are involved in that. So you'll see some people doing Link to the Past, other people. I've been trying to learn Stardew Valley for it. So again, that's just another thing. And Worlds Collide is part of that archipelago thing. It's in beta, so it's not in the official downloads, but it's also very easy to set up if you wanted to.
And then last but not least, we have our Seed of the Week program, which was where our community members can create flag sets and submit them for testing and to be rolled as a possible Seed of the Week candidate. We accept submissions for those all the time. If you join our Discord, head to our Seed of the Week channel, where you can find out more details of that and pin messages. And a little teaser for next week's Seed of the Week. We do have a special holiday coming up, and the Seed of the Week may revolve around that holiday. So keep an eye out for that. And I believe that's everything, Joker.
Is
We
this
plugged everything we were played to plug.
is this Thursday anything special?
This Thursday there may be a little announcement of what the importance of Thursday is coming up. Not gonna reveal it all too much. But
So just keep your eyes out,
it's an
and
important
again,
day. Yeah, it's an important day.
join the Discord to learn more.
Oh yeah. And I believe we can go cash our checks now for plugging everything, Joker Mage.
All right, yeah, that sounds good to me. Have a nice night, and thanks for commentating with me.
Yeah, of course. As always, a pleasure. And thank you everybody who tuned in with us and hang out with us. We appreciate you, and y'all have a good night.